You left an incredible mark on this world, and your memory will continue to inspire us and uplift us in the days and years to come, especially 2024. Rest in peace. You will be deeply missed. Dear Peral, your determination and never-ending endurance in my class will always be remembered. You did not only inspire your friends and loved ones, you inspired me to be a better person. You loved life, and it loved you right back. Rest in peace, dear Peral. Words from Mrs. de Jong. From Mrs. Fourie. Peral had a remarkable ability to connect with others, effortless, drawing people in with her warmth, her kindness, and infectious laughter. Her circle of friends was not just a testament to her popularity, but more importantly, to the genuine bond she forged with those who crossed her path. Today, as we reflect on Peral's life, let us not only mourn the loss of a bright star that was extinguished too soon, but also celebrate the radiant light she brought into our lives. While the pain of her absence may seem insurmountable, let us draw strength from the memories we shared, the laughter we enjoyed, and the lessons she taught all of us about living life fully. As we say farewell, may we remember her not only with tears of sorrow, but with the smiles that bloom from the cherished memories we have from her. Rest in peace, dear Peral. Your light may have dimmed, but its glow will forever remain etched in our hearts. Then Mr. Motsoane asked me also to just say the following. My sadness runs very deep. We are faced with an irreplaceable loss. We have lost an amazing personality, a kind person, and well-behaved learner. Peral, you left a void in geography class. We will forever love and miss you. I extend my deepest sympathy to the family, teachers, and fellow learners during this difficult time. May you find strength and support in each other as you navigate through the grief of losing a cherished learner and friend. Dear friends and family, today we gather to remember and honor Peral, a remarkable young lady whose light shone brightly in the lives she touched. As a math literacy teacher, I had the privilege of witnessing her intelligence, dedication, and kindness that radiated from her. From the moment Peral joined my class in Term 3, her enthusiasm for learning and her commitment to excellence was unmistakable. She wasn't just in my class. She became a symbol of hope and determination. Her presence brought a unique energy that inspired not only me, but the rest of her classmates. One of my fondest memories of Peral was during my birthday last November. In a heartfelt gesture of kindness, she gave me a biltong present. The simple yet profound act of thoughtfulness is a testament of her caring nature. It is a memory I will forever hold dear and cherish for the rest of my life. Looking ahead, we had big dreams. Together we were excited about the Grade 12 journey and were fervently working towards achieving that distinction that she so rightfully deserved. Her ambition and zeal were contagious, and it breaks my heart that we won't be able to celebrate that milestone together. As we bid farewell to Peral, let us not forget the lesson she taught us, the importance of kindness, the pursuit of excellence, and the power of a dream. Her legacy will continue to live in our hearts and the halls of our school. Peral, you may have left this world, but your spirit will forever be a guiding light in our lives. We will miss you dearly, but we will take solace in knowing that your journey was filled with love, with laughter and learning. Rest in peace, dear Peral. You will always be remembered and deeply missed. Mr. P.M. Mugorosi. A dearly loved learner who will be sincerely missed. We are grateful for fond memories, and in closing I want to say that I hope that you as family and all our friends will eventually find comfort and peace in the fond memories that you have of Peral. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Becker. It is in times such as these that we look at things that happen in our world and we see a war, we see over 100 people, thousands of people dying, and that becomes merely a statistic when we look at it. But when we look at a young learner, a student in our class who passes away so suddenly, it is not a statistic, it's a tragedy. And when we try and come to terms with it, we always ask questions. We have many questions where we say, why? Why now? What is the reason? We never get those answers. And ask Mr. Gareth Bailey to come up and perhaps shed some light on how we can make sense of this.
Thank you so very much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the privilege of being able to share with you today. To the family, the friends, and the loved ones, truly our deepest condolences, and just our prayers are with you in this very difficult time. And I pray that my encouragement to us today would be something of hope, but also give us something that we could hold on to beyond something of what we're experiencing today. We gather today to celebrate our life. We don't mourn death, we celebrate life. Because death is not really the end. It is life that we live that really does live on forever. There's a beautiful passage in the Old Testament in Ecclesiastes chapter 4. It says the following: "For everything there is a season, a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance." For all of us, we experience various kinds of seasons. We don't get to determine which season we find ourselves, sometimes even how long those seasons last. But we do get an opportunity to respond to the season we're in. And I know that for many of us in this room, we find ourselves in a very different kind of experience. And I'm trusting that as we reflect upon this precious life, this life that was cut short, full of potential, full of vibrancy, full of potential in life, that we would be able to see and recognize how she embraced the seasons of her life and how you and I could perhaps draw some encouragement from it. Regardless of the phase of life we're in, whether we're young or we're old, death comes suddenly. It is something that none of us have control over. I recently experienced the passing of my grandmother, who passed away in her 80s. And she battled a long, probably about a 13-month illness. We all knew the prognosis was fatal. But the time of her death was uncertain. We had no control over it. We couldn't determine when it would happen. And then when it finally did, it was still a shock, still something that we were unprepared for. And this is the reality of life and death. We have no control over it, but it is something that all of us face. And in these moments of pain and sorrow, I believe we can learn to be better prepared for what is to come, what is inevitable. I would love to give us a few handles on how we could possibly respond to this difficult moment, this difficult season, because it will pass. Our pain, our sorrow, our strife will come to pass, and it will be replaced by other things, other emotions, other memories. And so we will not remain as we are, because I believe we will be able to move into. And I think there are some ways in which we can do that. And perhaps for some of us, we are well known, we're aware of these things, but I'd love to encourage us just about the 5 stages of grief. Some of these things that we will all experience. Some of these things you have experienced and you're experiencing right now, and some of them you will experience. But I would love to prepare us for what is to come. The first phase is denial. I can't believe it. I didn't expect it. It can't be true. I cannot accept this reality. And this emotion, this experience, this phase is completely normal. And it is something that we should embrace. We shouldn't shy away from. It is okay for you and I to experience this emotion. These thoughts of how could it be? How can I understand it? How can I come to grips with this reality? But it is a very helpful coping mechanism. It empowers us. It helps us to be able to move into health and healing. The second phase is anger. After we've come to grips with this reality, we begin to ask questions. But why? And how could this have happened? And how could this have been something that we've had to experience, or that she would have to experience in such an untimely way? And so this emotion is okay. God himself is not caught off guard by our questions or even our emotions of anger and disappointment. But it's part of the grieving process. But as we go, we cannot stay in this place. We cannot remain angry and asking questions and denying the reality. But we have to move on into a place what many people talk about as bargaining. And at this stage, we feel like we want to sort of, because this death is something we cannot control, it is a phase in which we try and find some way of holding on. We bargain with ourselves, with our circumstances, even with God. And even in this phase, it is okay, because as we do that, it helps us to fully process the loss of mourning. And then there's a very important phase. And many people remain here. But we need to embrace it, but also move through it. And that's the phase of depression. What depression does is it causes us to isolate ourselves. It causes us to mull over, to live in the sorrow and the pain, the questions, the doubts, the anger and the fear. And that becomes our new reality. And my encouragement to us is that we would allow those times of reflection, those times of deep processing to happen, but that we would allow ourselves not to be isolated, but to remain in connection with one another. And many of you are going to see your loved ones and your friends and your family go through these phases. And when you notice that they're struggling, perhaps in this phase of depression, removing themselves, not sharing what's in their hearts, not communicating something of what they're going through, I encourage us to reach out to one another, to pray for one another, to encourage one another. And lastly, and this is something that will happen, is that we will come to an eventual phase of acceptance. Not acceptance of what happened, not acceptance as in it's okay, it's fine, but acceptance of the reality that we have a friend, a family member, a daughter, a sister that we can share very beautiful memories with, and that their life has impacted our lives, and that you and I can move into the future holding on to some of those beautiful memories. I'm told that Peral was a musician, someone who enjoyed playing the piano and playing drums, and it's something beautiful about music that moves us, that heals us, that allows us to experience something of transcendence. And I want to encourage us to take perhaps an example from her life, to lean into one aspect that was a passion of hers that could maybe help us carry through into our own lives. As a musician, we understand the power of harmony and melody, how when a beautiful piece of music is being played and the whole orchestra is playing in time together and in harmony, there is a beautiful, beautiful sound that is produced. But there are some important maybe aspects I'd like to share with us. Now, as a drummer, I'm going to just move over here. One of my favorite instruments is the snare drum. This actually is my favorite drum. The drums represent the heartbeat of the music. I always told my students when I was giving drum lessons, I would say to them, you know, that when the drums stop, the music dies. There is something that we lose when the drums stop. And in some ways, we've all experiencing loss. But when I think of the drums, and if I think of Peral being someone that played the drums, I know that she would have understood something of the significance and the beauty of being able to play this instrument. I also brought along with me my stick bag. Stick bag that's made up of many different sticks and make many different sounds on the instrument. Now, all of these things by themselves don't make any meaningful music. It's only when it is played that it is heard, that it is experienced, and that it makes an impact. All the musicians here, that if you've started playing piano or specifically drums, one of the first things you encounter is a very challenging part of what makes music beautiful, and that is the tempo, the pulse. And that's usually dictated to us by what? The metronome. The metronome is this one consistent clicking sound that never ever changes. It does not speed up. It doesn't slow down. When I try and play along with it, I realize that I'm speeding up and I'm slowing down. And it's so challenging for me to learn to play according to this tempo, this beat. Now, friends, if I look at life, I believe that God is the one that sets the tempo for our lives. He is the one who decides how fast it's going to play, but He's also the one that is never ending. He does not stop. He does not change. He does not, change His mind, but He invites us to play along with His beat, His tempo that He sets. I'm going to ask you, how in tune are you with the tempo of heaven? I mentioned that I have a whole bunch of different sticks here, and each one of them is quite different, as I said. I have some brand new ones. They're still in their wrapping. I haven't used it yet. I have a new set I just cracked out this week on the drums at church. And so they're bearing some scars of my playing, but they're still in good tact. As I move to the left here, I have a few others. These ones are quite old already. Their tips are chipped. They've got a few splinters that they can hurt you a little bit. Some of them are not as useful to me anymore. They're still in the bag. I have a few here that have very interesting memories for me. This one in particular, it's got a bit of tape on it. I don't know if your life's being held together a bit by some tape, some wounds, some plaster, some things you've experienced. But each one of them have a specific memory. This one in particular, with the tape, was given to me by my wife when I was a teenager. We started dating. And I have a very profound memory of that. That's why it's still in my stick bag. I don't use it anymore to play, but it's there. Each one of them make a very different sound. Some of them are fat and bulky. Others are made of plastic. Very different sounds. Some are very delicate, made out of wire. And they make very, very different sounds. Each one of us, unique in our own way. Each one of us invited to play along with the heartbeat of heaven. And my encouragement to us, or my question to us is, don't despise what you may look like. Don't despise what you may have experienced, the scars, the pain, the struggles. Don't neglect the opportunities you have just because perhaps you look different. Because as I've been listening to the life of Peral, she was someone that embraced just who she was and lived, but chose to recognize the heartbeat of heaven. I'm going to ask us, as we take stock today, as we reflect upon a life, short as it was, left a lasting impact on our lives. As we go through the various phases of grief, those stages that some of us will go back and forth experiencing them, as we don't walk alone, but we walk with one another as a community, as a family, and as friends. Can we embrace not only what we are looking to accomplish with our lives, or what we could enjoy, living for ourselves, in other words, but could we allow ourselves to be in tune with the great composer, the great conductor of heaven, choosing to use us, our gifts, our abilities, our stories, to not play our own song, but to play the song of heaven. Let me pray for us. Lord God, we come before you today, Lord, as people who know that there is an uncertainty to life. We do not know what tomorrow holds. We do have certainty that one day we will all face death. And I pray, Lord, for every one of us, that even though we may not be prepared for the exact moment, but that we would live lives in preparation for what is to come. That even though death comes suddenly and unexpectedly, we are not caught off guard. And our lives do not speak of us living for ourselves, but that it speaks of living to stay in step with your heartbeat, Lord. We pray, Lord Jesus, for the family. We pray for those in the school. And we pray that your comfort, your guidance, and your love would be evident. Amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bailey. Besides the family experiencing the loss of Peral, the learners in our school have also been hit most hard, because most of these learners spent an entirety of the day with her. Even in the afternoons when they would go through extra work, I know specifically the 11E2 class would come to me just before the exams. And they would bring her along, come, we have to carry on. The exams are up. And they worked hard at it. Their academics showed. And I would like to say from my side, specifically in the subject I've taught, in the last 4 months, Peral showed great resilience, and she really improved her English mark. She really did. This is what us teachers are trying to come to terms with, because we are at a calling where we are supposed to produce the futures of this world. And it's a tragedy as such, where we look upon our learners as the brightest of our futures, and they get taken away from us. And it's quite difficult to control, it's difficult to handle, it's difficult to comprehend. Yesterday I sat with 4 of the learners that are going to be speaking this morning, and we went through what they were going to say. I tried to prepare them as best as I could for this morning. So I'd like you to please just have a bit of patience with them if they falter a bit. Their individual messages that they're going to give you now from their points of view of Peral are coming straight from their heart. I'm going to call upon Michaela Nell, Emil Shaheen, Laura Sarmiento, and Sergio Correa to come up and give you their tributes.
Oh, Peral, what would I do just to see you one more time? One more video call with you, one more message. Hey, come for coffee, then we can swim. Or she would usually phone me early in the morning, checking if I'm ready for a test or just ready for the day. One more laugh with you, and even just one last hug. We are here to celebrate the life of Peral and to cherish all the memories. Peral was one of a kind, with a kind, caring heart, and only wanted to make people smile or laugh. It is sad to know that she is no longer with us, but we should rather be joyful and know that she is an angel flying and watching over us. We should live with the love, kindness, and positivity she has left behind. I had the privilege of knowing Peral for 2 years. However, she felt like my lifetime friend. Auntie Shanice and her family made me feel welcome from the very beginning. Peral always managed to make me laugh and smile. She was a bundle of joy with lots of positivity. She had a contagious laugh and smile that brightens up your day. Peral was so excited to come to my class. She could not wait to be taught by Mr. Gibbon, and English and geography were by far her favorite. She made each lesson interesting with her jokes, but also her determination to do well. She had sworn and quote her words that maths lit is just like accounting. She was a team player and participated in every gala so she could earn a point for her team. Peral lived and loved for her family and friends and would do anything for them. Her heart was very forgiving, and she believed in second chances. Peral loved to dance. She had a passion for music, especially her Turkish music. She played the piano, and any cultural activity, Peral was there. That morning before her operation, I had spoken to her. She was her jolly, happy self, making jokes, laughing, smiling, and she couldn't wait to come home. That's the way I want to remember Peral. It will be weird not to see Peral standing in front of the line with her fist bumps or high fives. Breaks will not be the same when she couldn't stop talking about her imaginary boyfriends, or she would tell Shay and I she knew Charles Leclerc and Landon Norris, and those used to make our days. Just seeing her used to make our days. Peral, it will be very difficult to start the final chapter without you. especially matric, but it's going to be dedicated to you, from the classroom to the sports field. You will forever be in my heart, and I will never forget you. The piece of our puzzle is missing, Peral. May your soul rest in peace. We miss and we love you, Peral. Fly high.
Vivian and Lillian were Peral's closest friends. They were very loyal to her and truly by her side through thick and thin. I remember it being just yesterday when Lillian and I were playing mom and dad to Peral, Izette, Vivian, and Christopher. As you would imagine, us 7-year-olds didn't know what to do and ended up, quote-unquote, poisoning them. The following letter is from Vivian's message to Peral. Vivian sadly missed Peral's 17th birthday and was broken down about it. And so Peral called her that very same night with her iconic video calls and promised Vivian that she would say a speech to Peral on her 18th birthday, and she better start preparing. Dear Peral, I remember so vividly when I gave a whole speech to you on your birthday, wishing you many years ahead. And now it breaks my heart to say goodbye to you before getting to say your 18th birthday speech. You were a truly incredible person. No matter what, you always brought positivity and shine. No one could ever be upset when you were near them, and you always stuck near your closest friends, trying to help them through their problems. Every day I sit missing your video calls, whether it was to check up on me, tell me the latest drama, or make sure I ate enough. You would be the first person that viewed all my statuses and replied to them. Unfortunately, I don't get that anymore. Peral, I know that you would hate me crying every night, but I miss you, my best friend, my sister, and my biggest supporter. I really love you, Vanessa. Lillian also wrote a message, and it follows. I always wished that I was presenting a speech in front of you or against you to build the excitement and suspense between us, yet still knowing that I really didn't stand half a chance. Today the tables have turned drastically because instead I'm writing a goodbye. Peral, throughout the 17 years, I've been with you. Every memory outstanding the next. My love for you was honestly greater than the love I had for myself. Your soul was the sweetest, full of positivity and love. If you appreciated a person, you made sure to show it, and I'm so happy that I was lucky to be one of the few. My sister from another mother, my best friend, and my motivation all disappeared in one split second. I wish I had a few more minutes with you, even if it was to just give you one final hug, because you deserve triple of the amount of love you gave. I love you so much, Paprika, and I'll always be thinking of you in my heart. Love, Alicia. I also wrote my own speech. Really, I never thought I would be writing this speech. If anything, I imagined the roles reversed when I decided to actually go mad when I said Liverpool would lose a game. Well, Peral, here I am, not going mad and Liverpool still winning. In all honesty, Peral was my guardian angel. The type of angel that would be by your side and nag you on to succeed. But we all knew her as that beautiful, loving person anyways. She gave everything to her friends and family, and all her boyfriends, even when we never really recognized it. Really, I am here today to say we see it now. And even though I cannot say it to your face, I want you to know this when you are sitting up in heaven beside your grandparents, watching over us, and obviously Liverpool. Peral, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry because I failed to protect you this time. But I know, despite my failure, you will still be in heaven, protecting me. Gone too soon, Rally, because just a few years ago, when we were just 1 year old, you almost saw me drown, or when we so-called dated. I know, however, that I will sleep easy at night, knowing that you are safe in a place you will always find comfort in. Love you, Rally, forever and again. Fly high, ya Rally, until we cross paths again.
Peral was loved by many, and she was someone who loved many. As many of us come today to say our farewells, and celebrate Peral's life, I still stand here in denial, thinking that this is all just a dream and that I will wake up knowing that you are still here with us. Peral and I became friends in the early years of foundation phase, and we stuck together till now. At a certain point of my life in high school, she was my only best friend in the school. And we became extremely close. She slowly started becoming the reason why I kept coming to school. Seeing Peral every day felt like a day boost. I still remember to this day the first time going to her house. Auntie Shanice welcomed me with open arms and treated me as if I was her own daughter. And from that day, I saw the Coçkun'un family as my second family. And soon enough, Peral and Izet became the siblings that I never had the chance to have. I can confidently say for all the people that have known her and spent time with her that there was never a dull moment with Peral. She was always energetic, whether it was a rainy day or a dreaded Monday at school. She always had a positive attitude that uplifted most of us. She always knew how to make everyone laugh, whether it was her anorexic chicken from Woolies jokes or her contagious laugh. Peral was someone who always had a caring persona. Even if you were a stranger, she would still welcome you with open arms as if she had known you for years. She was also a motivated person, and she was someone who believed that failure was never an option. She never gave up on her academics and music, and neither did she give up on her friends. One of her best qualities that I think we should all learn from her was how forgiving she was. She never held grudges, and she always found it in her heart to forgive others who wronged her. I think the important thing we must learn is to never hold grudges and to always forgive, as we never know when it is the last time you may ever see or speak to that person again. Peral left a huge impact in this world, and she will always be remembered in our hearts. Her calm presence can be felt strongly around the places we spend time with her. And I know that she is here today watching all of us and smiling, knowing that we all are here together and united to celebrate her. And finally, to Peral, I pray that Allah has placed you in a better place where you will feel endless joy and love. I want to thank you for being an amazing friend through the years. Our friendship has been nothing but a beautiful journey, and I pray that when the time comes, we will meet again and debate which football club is better. Seni sonzu dek sevuriyam Peral. I love you forever, Peral.
Today I stand before you with a heavy heart, grieving the loss of a dear friend, a trusted confidant, and an irreplaceable presence in our lives. We gather here to celebrate the life and cherish the memories of someone who was not just a school friend, but a soul who touched us all with her kindness, love, and unwavering friendship. To speak about my friendship with Peral,
is to delve into cherished memories and shared experiences that have shaped me to be the very person I am today. From the first day we met 11 years ago at St. Conrad's, an unbreakable bond was formed, a bond that transcended school life. Peral was, without a doubt, the most authentic person I have ever had the privilege to know. She possessed a rare gift, the ability to effortlessly make everyone around her feel seen, heard, and valued. Her warm smile, accompanied by a playful sparkle in her eyes, could dismantle any wall, conquering our fears and insecurities. In her presence, we were free to be ourselves, unapologetically and proudly. But it wasn't just her infectious joy and laughter that made Peral so special. It was her unwavering loyalty and unwavering support that truly set her apart. She was the person you could always count on, the one who stayed up late to listen to your worries, wiped away your tears, and offered comfort in times of uncertainty. No matter what challenges life hurled our way, Peral was the rock that provided stability and reassurance. It's impossible to talk about Peral without mentioning her zest for life. Peral loved her family and would go to the ends of the earth for them. Peral loved music, whether it be playing the drums, the piano, the marimbas, or just listening to it. Her other love was that for Liverpool Football Club. She would never miss a match and would always stand beside her team, win or lose. Whatever Peral did, she did with passion. She taught me the importance of living in the present moment and cherishing every ounce of life's beauty. As we navigate the void that her departure has left behind, let us remember Peral not in sorrow, but in gratitude. Gratitude for the precious memories we shared, the laughter we echoed through the classrooms and school grounds, and the lessons we learned from her remarkable spirit. Her legacy will forever live on as a reminder to treasure every friendship, to be a pillar for others in times of need, and to embrace life with unyielding love and passion. Perali, my dear friend, thank you for being the shining light in my life, for teaching me the true meaning of friendship, and for the countless smiles and laughter we shared. Though our hearts ache with loss, may we find comfort in the knowledge that you are now at peace, watching over us all. Your spirit will forever dance through the memories we hold dear. I'll always remember your favorite saying, "You'll never walk alone." Goodbye, my dear friend. Fly high with the angels, and until we meet again, I know I will never walk alone.
You walk through a storm, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, there's a golden sky and the sweet silver sound of love. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, for your dreams be tossed and
there's a quote written by Bill Mann where it says, "We're always saddened by the death of a student. It's doubly sad for it to happen in a time usually associated with being a happy season." And clearly from that very fitting tribute, she was in a very happy season. We turn to the family for their tributes right now. I'm going to ask her brother Izette and Auntie Beryl if you'd please come forward and give your tribute.
Wow. All I can say is wow. How privileged weren't we all to have met such an amazing, beautiful soul. Peral touched everybody's lives in such a unique way that no words can describe. The love that she had to share with everybody was out of this world. She took an immediate liking to people and developed a bond with people as if she had known them all her life, when in actual fact she'd only just met them. Her warmth, love and compassion was a trait very few people actually have. If you asked me to describe Peral in just one word, it would be extraordinary. After the tragic event on Saturday night, I realized that Peral was an angel roaming this world that was borrowed to us for 17 years to teach us the meaning of love and peace. How many of us have actually had that privilege of meeting their guardian angel? I have. Not only was she my niece, she was my daughter, my friend, my confidant, and most importantly, she had my back. Sorry. My heart is shattered in a million pieces, and the tears just keep on rolling. Although she referred to me as Auntie Beryl, not once did she ever call me that. I was just Beryl to her, and that explained the uniqueness and the special bond we shared. Okay. She loved life. Family meant everything to her. She loved her creator, her religion. The path Peral followed should be an example for all of us. Life is short, and I think Peral knew that. She made a point to get in touch with so many people in the last couple of days of her life. It made me wonder, how did she do it? Where did she find the time? But then again, this is Peral we're talking about. Maybe that was a way of her saying farewell to all of us. Our family's loss is huge, and my dear Rally, words cannot explain how much I'm going to miss you. My phone has gone silent. Our laughters and jokes, no more. I love you, my Perelli, and I'm going to miss you dearly. Goodbye, my guardian angel, till we meet again.
Keeping this very short and sweet, my sister Peral Coşkunun, a harmless butterfly too beautiful and innocent for this cruel place of a world. She was more than a friend, sister, auntie, daughter, granddaughter. She was everything. Victor Hugo once said, "Life is a flower of which love is the honey," and Peral was that sweet honey. She had this magical way of making everyone around her happy. walk into a room, and boom, smiles and joy everywhere. Peral might have not have been in things like the top 10, but she put her heart into school, always proud of her work. She was the jokester, the peacemaker, the glue holding us all together. Peral couldn't stand seeing people suffer, whether it was a physical or emotional struggle. She'd jump in to help without a second thought. On behalf of my sister, let's say strong, Peral wouldn't want anyone shedding tears. She'd want a celebration of her life. Losing someone close hits hard. The pain when I found out about her passing was just brutal. So here's a reminder. Love the people close to you. You never know when they might be gone. To my sister Peral, I love you. Always have, always will.
Finally, we have some words from Shanice. If you can come up, please.
I didn't think I'd be standing here today, having to do this in front of Kuro at school. I just want to say that I think everyone that's here today, Peral dearly loved you. Some of you have come an extremely long way with her. And I don't have words. All I can say is that I was privileged to be her mother. And I just want to thank everybody, all the friends, my family, Kuro. Thank you for the support, the love, the care, and Peral will forever live in everyone's hearts. Thank you.
This brings us to the end of this proceedings. I'm going to ask that the prefects leave through the back door there. They have something specially planned for Peral. Once they are there, I'm going to ask that the family and friends be afforded the opportunity to leave first, to go through, and then once they are through, the rest of the hall may lead out into our quad as the prefects have got a send-off for Peral. Thank you. Once we are finished outside with the prefect send-off, there are some refreshments inside the hall, and the family asks if you can please join them afterward in the hall. Thank you.
you.